Chapter 15. Mustang's Cabover. We had been looking for a blue Peterbilt Cabover, an 18-wheeler tractor, in and around Boaz for weeks. I don't recall the debtor's name. He had a blue Cabover with a rearing horse painted on the side of it, and his CB handle was Mustang. Rearing horse, Mustang, get it? He was hiding from the finance company, and by extension, he's hiding from us. We had checked several addresses in the county and tried to locate this guy in his truck with no luck. Our skip tracers learned that Mustang was towing mobile homes from a mobile home plant in Boaz. I went by the mobile home plant, and it's a big manufacturing plant with a high security fence around it, and there was a guard shack that you had to go through in order to get into the plant. I asked the guard if he knew Mustang in his truck, and he did. He said the debtor came there almost every day with the truck. He would drive in and line up with the trucks where they picked up the trailers, and Mustang wasn't there the day that I stopped by, but I gave the guard my phone number, and I asked him if he would please call me the next time Mustang was there with the truck. And he said he would be glad to call me the next time he saw him. I'm pretty sure the guard knew why I was looking for Mustang and his truck, and I asked him to keep my quest to himself and not mention to Mustang that I was looking for him, and the guard assured me that he wouldn't tell him. As I recall, he didn't think too highly of the guy for some reason. It was early one morning, a few days later, when the guard called. Mustang was there with the truck. This is before daylight. Luckily, I was working out in the county not far from Boaz, and it was still dark when I got over to the mobile home plant. I parked my truck behind a business across the street from the plant, and I took my paperwork and walked across the employee parking lot to the guard shack. I went in, and from behind the desk, the guard pointed to a group of men standing in a circle out there in the dark driveway, and he said, "He's right out there." I said, "Thanks, but I don't need him." I walked out the door and into the plant, past Mustang and the other drivers who were standing there waiting to take new mobile homes to their destinations. The way the drivers operated at this plant was first come, first served. When they opened the gate in the morning, they would drive their trucks into the plant early and line up along the final assembly building, and they would check in, and the guard would let them in, and they drove halfway through the plant and parked along next to that building. They lined up one behind another, and as the mobile homes were completed, the first truck in line would hook it up and take it out the back gate of the plant, and they were gone. I threaded my way through the dark plant, making my way back to the line of trucks. Mustang was on the ball today. His truck was the first one in line, and it was running. I opened the door and checked the VIN number on the door. Yes, this is the right truck. And I climbed up into the cab, and I looked in the sleeper behind me. I didn't want to drive off with his wife asleep in the back, and it was empty. So I looked back to see if he was coming, and he wasn't. And I pushed the clutch in, I threw the truck in gear, and I headed out the back gate of the plant. I hadn't gotten out of the plant when the CB radio began to blare. "Who's got Mustang's truck? That isn't funny. Bring that truck back." I just turned it off and kept driving. I didn't say anything because I wasn't sure that broadcasting that I had just repossessed his truck wouldn't be a violation of the Fair Debt Collections Practices Act. All the other drivers would have heard it, so I just stayed quiet. Perhaps the silence from the radio caused him to realize that the repo man had finally caught up with him. But my problems weren't over. Now, I've got the truck, but I don't have a plan. I've got the truck, but what am I going to do with it? In the past, when I picked up a big rig, it was usually voluntary, and I had to line up a driver who had a CDL, commercial driver's license. I didn't have a commercial driver's license, but it wasn't possible to line one up, a Mustang, because I was never sure when I was going to find the vehicle. He wouldn't have cooperated if we had made contact. So here I was driving a tractor trailer truck, and I don't have a CDL. I don't know what the penalty would be if the police or the state troopers had caught me, but I'm sure it involved a hefty fine. I didn't want to push my luck too far in driving, but I also needed to get far enough away from the plant to hide the truck. And plus, I had to get back to my truck, was hidden across from the plant. I didn't think I had driven too far, but evidently I had driven a bit further than I thought. I found a spot on a secluded highway, and I backed the truck into some trees across a gravel parking lot and into the woods. At the crossroads, it was a crossroads out in the country. I locked the truck, I took the keys, and I started walking back to my truck. Well, I didn't realize how far I had gone. I'm not going to make it back to get to my truck before that business opens, and this is not good. So I started hitchhiking. I hitched a ride with a guy going to work, and for a few dollars more, he took me by the plant, and I thanked him and hopped out. I walked around behind the business where I had parked the truck, my truck, and I met the owner of the business. He's on the phone in the parking lot calling a wrecker to come get my truck. He was on the phone with a towing company. Somebody had abandoned the truck in his lot, and he's calling them to come and tow my truck. I apologized profusely and got in my truck and left. I drove back over to where I'd hidden the Cabover, and I parked in front of it, and I waited for one of our company drivers, one of the truck drivers with the CDL from Birmingham, to come and take Mustang's truck to the main office. You know, I push my luck a lot of times, but I seem to get away with it, and so I'm just going to thank the Lord for that one, but that was a fun one.